Cybersecurity is hard. It's confusing. No, it's not. Look, if I can do it, you can do it. I mean that. I really do mean that. But why is it so confusing? Why do people think it's confusing? What are the problems that we run into? And I think that somebody wants to take all of your money so that they can say, you see, you did it our way, you made us a... No, they don't want to tell you that they made a ton of money. They want to say, you can only come to us, you can only get this our way. And that's just not true. There are so many different ways to do this. So where do you get what you need in a tsunami? You know, I would say it's a sea of stuff, but it's a tsunami of content and crap that's out there. And a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. In the cybersecurity business, one of the things that I say is don't use fear, uncertainty, and doubt to convince people to do cybersecurity. But that's exactly what the cybersecurity companies do. And I reject their assumption completely. So where do I get my resources? How do I organize things? Well, let's see. If you go to the people who put on the certification, ISC squared or CompTIA, they're naturally going to say to you, oh, buy our training along with this, we'll make it really easy. It turns out that some of those companies that are out there actually outsource all of the training and then make a bunch of money off of outsourcing that training. Basically, you know, it's kind of like a pay-to-play kind of thing for them. Some of them will even take the time to scare you to death in the registration process to say, if you don't do it our way, then you could be rejected. And so you have to do it our way and you have to give us all your money. And I still say, no, you don't. Now, that's one of the reasons that I created this channel. What I thought was a good idea was for you, if you were curious about cybersecurity or curious about a cybersecurity topic, that you could come to my channel and say, hey, what's this all about? Not the entire thing, not learning everything, but what's the concept when it comes to this particular topic? And so that's what you'll see on my channel is you'll see the concept, a setup for it, the understanding of the components of it, and then there'll be a little piece at the end that is, and how is this relevant for AI? I've been adding that one in lately because everybody's talking about AI. How is cybersecurity changed by AI? Or where is this different because AI has now kicked in? So that little piece right there could be really long. Some of my videos are 5 minutes long. Some of them are 40 minutes long. But I wanted to make sure that you had that concept up front. So where does that come from? Well, if you look on my channel, when I start out at the very beginning, you don't see this. Because you don't want to see this. You don't want to know what it's all about. So what you normally see when I start a video with you is you see something that looks like this. And I only talk about the concept and the AI, but you can see that underneath of these, there's all these little tiny components inside of there. That's the full thing. But you just came to say, am I interested in this? Or, wait a minute, you came to me to say, cybersecurity should be easy. What are the components of it? How do I learn cybersecurity? And I gave you the first components there, but you could, if you wanted to, get the mind map. And if you drove into the mind map and you dug really deep into it at the very end of this, would be all the links to my material. But you don't need me. Once you've got the concept in your head, you can go out and you can search for through that sea, that tsunami of content that's out there. Somebody will try to sell you something. So here I'm not selling you anything. Well, okay, if you want my mind map, because it's my proprietary material and all of the content in it, yes, you have to pay me a few dollars. So that's one thing. You could use mind maps. You don't have to. You could use videos and you could use note cards and you could be done. So that's the first thing on your list is, what is the concept? How do I understand it? Where do I go for more? And you get that right here. And again, you could look at the entire mind map and you can see that that is, well, that's pretty big, because there are a lot of components to cybersecurity, but it's not complicated. It really, truly isn't. Again, if I can do it, you can do it. But then you go, okay, Dean, I've learned a little bit. I want a little bit more. I want to know whether I understand this. Like, you might be coming in here and saying, you know, I'm already a cybersecurity professional, but I've never heard of this thing before. And it turns out you have. It's just been called something else in your world. How could you figure out whether you know what you need to know, or maybe you need more? And that's why I created my Substack for you. It's free. But wait a minute, how does that get you a quiz? Well, this is the cool thing. What you will see on my Substack is you'll see something that'll say something AI quiz, copy and paste to your local AI. And then it'll give you this KSAT ID here. That's K0866. Now, if you're looking on my channel and you're looking at my material, you would drill down into something that you were reading, and then inside of that, it would say, and there's this one, in this case, is K0656. So you go over to my Substack and you say, I need a quiz. Here it is. It's not a quiz with me. It's a quiz with you and your AI. And what you do is you copy this deployable KSAT prompt. I'll show you a little trick here. For me, I'm a Mac person, so once I highlight a little tiny bit of this, I hit Shift and then the End key on my keyboard, and it copies all the way down to the bottom. Now, it's going to copy a little bit of extra stuff inside of there to get your quiz, but you've, you know, right now you've selected it all, so then you copy it, and now where are you going to paste it? In this case, I'm using Google Gemini. You could use Claude, you could use ChatGPT, you could use a local model if you wanted to, but it'd have to be pretty robust. You'll notice at the bottom here, it's got all this Substack stuff inside of it. So it's copied a little bit of extra stuff. So what we'll do is we'll just go up here, and right there you see, oh, I don't need all the stuff that goes below this, so I'm going to click delete. So you've copied and pasted that big, huge, long thing, and you don't have to know what that is, and then you hit the submit button. Now, if this works, it'll ask you a couple of questions. It'll ask you where you are in cybersecurity, because I don't know where you are, and I've got to give you a quiz that's accurate for you. A lot of companies say, oh, you have to take all this quiz, you have to know all of this. Scare tactics again, and I don't want you to be scared. You can do this. You can say, hey, I've got 0 years of experience. And then it's going to say, okay, now that I got that, describe your current role. Now, in this case, you just type out whatever you do in there. And you could type in, if you want to, I don't know, IDK. And so you have no knowledge whatsoever. It's going to say, okay, now I understand. Is your primary job executing tasks, managing processes, or setting directions? So you can now answer a couple of questions here, and you can say, hey, I'm executing tasks most of the time. So it'll give you a little hint. If you're just totally blank it, it'll give you a little hint, and then it will start to set up your quiz. So it says, you are tactical and a novice. I'm going to give you 7 questions, and then it goes through the questions, and I say, yes, I'm ready. And then it goes through the quizzing process. We're not going to do that here. But you go through the quizzing process at your level. It gives you questions, and you type them out. There's no A, B, C, or D here, because that's not how the world works. You go, well, Dean, I don't know this information. It's time to go back and get some other studying done. What's really great, at the very end of this, it says, okay, here are the resources that you need. This is where you are in this thing, and then it'll give you a little string at the bottom. That little string at the bottom, if you work with me, you can copy and paste that into our website, and what it will do is it will track your progress. But you can track your progress on your own. You don't need me. Okay, so we've got a video We've got a mind map if you want the whole mind map. You'd have to pay me a few dollars for that. I think it's a reasonable cost. You've got a quiz. You've got a way to take the quiz. What happens if you want more? What happens if you want the actual video itself? Okay, I'm in the business of making a little bit of money here, so fine. What you could do is you could go to O'Reilly and you could subscribe at O'Reilly and you could get all of the full videos. Right now in that library, there are 100 videos that are tied to the topics that are inside of YouTube. Eventually, there will be about 600 to 700 videos, and that will encompass all the different certifications, all of the different work roles that are out there, all of the different competency areas for cybersecurity. It'll be a set of videos that's up there. So you can go to them and get a subscription, and then you're done. You don't need me anymore. But the nice thing is that you can map the numbers back and forth so that you can figure out what's going on. You could come to Expanding Security itself and buy a course here. Now you'll notice in this case that the course is somewhere between $8 and $15. Okay, fine. Well, why not just do it at O'Reilly? Well, O'Reilly doesn't have the quizzes. They don't have the glossaries. They do have the videos, and they've got other stuff that you can read there. The nice thing inside of my mind maps is a lot of times I'll have links that lead to other O'Reilly content and then also open source content that's out there. But if you land inside of our little website, VMLT, and you purchase from us, then you'll get the video, you get the mind map, a glossary, and then you'll get a couple of quizzes. But again, you can do all of this on your own if you want to. So you decide how you want to do this. I wanted to say a special thank you to the 300 people that have started and subscribed at the very beginning of the YouTube channel. I really appreciate you and thank you for all your wonderful comments. I hope I see you soon. I'm Dean Bushmiller and I'm from Expanding Security, and you can do cybersecurity training on your own.